Yeah. Do.
Oh, you got wide range. No, you got to sit right here next to him. Don't you?
I'm good. As long as the topic is what is more important.
Good afternoon, everybody. BaldHead and Friend Podcast. Episode 2 of Accountable Men in the Community. Basically, we're talking about a lot of things that have been going on. We talking about solutions. We're not talking about what should be done. You will be hearing us go over some of the causes, some of the things that have plagued us as black men that have been going on and that are continue to going on in the generations that you see right now. So to the right of me, I got one of the premier tattoo artists in Chicago, also a dude from the streets, from the neighborhood, my man Skills. I also have one of my OGs. You know, y'all gonna see a lot of my OGs on here, the motherfuckers that I would listen to, because it's a lot of motherfuckers I wouldn't listen to. But my man Highsmith is in the building. This brother's track record in doing great things in the community. I can't even tell you how long it is, because I think he started out with Martin Luther King. I don't know, but he did a lot. And it's still doing right now. So, and also on the other side, you really can't see. Let me adjust this.
Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna adjust mine because it got to be seen the right way. Bam, there you go. There you go. Yeah, we got to get in a little bit. That's why I wanted the camera to be up there. My man, Lil D, is over there. And Lil D is gonna head off everything that's going on, because this project that we got Accountable Men is his project that I've been put on. Yeah, I'm on it. So, Lil D.
Well, it ain't a project. It's a ways to a mean. What I mean is, in me, and this is just only my opinion. My opinion is, if we had more accountable men, that we will have less violence and disturbance in our community, and especially in our homes. I think with the generation gap has changed in such a dynamic way that it's hard to get through to somebody, or get through to these young kids, or some people don't even want to be bothered with them at all. But at the same time, we just can't stop. So as BaldHead was just saying, you know, we got one of the oldest people that I probably know outside of my Aunt Essie is Highsmith right here.
Aunt Essie.
Hey, believe me, I am not sad about my age. Believe that.
Hey, and that's a good thing, because the goal is to get old. And now a lot of people ain't made it, you know what I'm saying, unfortunately. You know, I lost my son at 16 years old, so that was 9 years ago. You know, we all done lost some people here. But the gratitude of being able to still speak with somebody like Highsmith that's been in the neighborhoods for years and decades and stuff, and understand and still have common sense on right and wrong, you know, and I listened to him. And as I got older, he started listening to me a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So that's where the teaching goes both ways. We missing a link in the teaching. So you got his generation, I'm under him, and then it's one generation that's up under me. That second generation down is what we missing. Them 30 on down is what we missing. But again, in my opinion, with all this violence and all this shooting, you have the people that's doing most of the shooting, they don't have no jobs, nor do they have a house or apartment or anything else, because a person with responsibility, they ain't out shooting, they ain't out doing nonsense, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's a fact. So the people that's sitting up at your house and you saying, not my baby, yes, it is your baby, because we all differ once we outside. We act differently, period. As in kids, when I was a child, go outside, I want to be this or feel like I'm just this cool or whatever in front of your friends. But when you go in that house, that foundation of that house with Big Mama and them is something different. You know, so we all have those type of views and opinions and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So let's kick it off with the arts there. I get Dre. I got him.
Yeah.
You want to tell your spiel on what you think about what's going on in the community and some of the solutions, not something that we
already know, yeah.
what we really need to know.
First of all, I think everybody need to be accountable for themselves first. You know what I'm saying? Because
Speak up a little bit too, because it might.
Because they follow what they see. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot, just like here at the center, it's a lot of little guys, they come through here, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes things might be on the wrong foot, but by me being older, I have to take control, you know what I'm saying? So, even if I have to come back and apologize and show them some type of respect, you know what I'm saying? But as far as the whole thing in a nutshell, like, they just need something better to see. They need something better to do. You know what I'm saying? And like when I was coming up, we had, well, first of all, the heads kept us in line, you know what I'm saying? But we had things to do. We had field houses, you know what I'm saying? We had, it was always something to do, man. You had to, even with the police. You know what I'm saying? You had Officer Friendly, he come in the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? Play ball with us and things like that. You know what I'm saying? And
That's one of the things that I was telling somebody one day. The police don't even walk around no more, and they ain't familiar with nobody. And it's unfamiliar faces. You're not gonna be familiar and say anything when someone else, somebody that's not your color, or you not even nowhere used to know them. I did some stuff one time in the neighborhood, and it was so crazy. A detective rolled up on me and said, "If I see you out here tomorrow, I'm telling Miss Emma."
yeah.
It's my great grandmother. I was like, "What? You gonna tell me?" You gotta be.
But everybody just needs to get back on one accord. Cause I mean, like, your mother, the police, the school, and to be honest with you, even the guy who was calling for you, they was all on the one accord. Because whatever happened came back to the house, and wherever happened in the house, your mama told your friend. And there you go, you got to deal with them guys in the streets. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna take us to help us, man. That's for sure.
What you think about it, Smell?
Well, in a nutshell, what it done happened to us as a people. You have to understand that everything progresses, and when it's been conditioned since we've been on this planet, on this continent here, that it's always been some diabolical plan to keep us on the bottom.
Right.
We can't continuously be looking for other people. Could you open that door? We can't keep on looking for solutions and some hero that land in our community and start looking out for us.
Right.
Now, with this conditioning that took place for 400 plus years, and it got us to the point that we are in right now, where we have lost all shared values. We don't care about each other anymore. To the point now that if you move in a neighborhood, you don't know who lives next door to you. You don't know who lives across the street from you. People have been living in Inglewood. I've been in Inglewood since 1956. And I've never left. Here's what I'm telling you. I've never left Inglewood. However, I don't know the people that live in Inglewood. You know why? Because we done established a new set of way we live now. We feel safe not knowing each other. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So if we don't know each other, how can we love each other? And then you have to understand another thing, shared values is so important. Is that you take that's what holds the community together, is that you have the shared values like this. That if I'm cutting my grass and I know the neighbor next door it wouldn't even be a conscious thing I do. I just keep on cutting the grass.
Right.
I cut the grass, cut his grass, cut nobody else's grass. If I see some paper on the floor, I'm gonna pick it up.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you got shared values here. You concerned about what happened to, I'm concerned about what happened to your child. You'll be concerned about what's happening to my child.
Yeah.
All we are doing is sitting in the house, and that's a doggone shame about old boy getting killed, a little girl get killed. It got to the point now we don't even care nothing about that women in our neighborhood is coming up missing.
That's crazy.
We don't even think about the fact that most of the young people getting killed in our community is under 18 years old.
Crazy.
You know, so where have our shared values went to? This is what I'm harping on 24 hours a day, reestablishing the thing that holds the community together is shared values. I'll give you a good example. You remember when that little boy, the little white boy got killed by his parents?
Yeah.
What have you, did you see how the community that he lived in responded?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You understand?
Everybody supported it.
Do you think, what time had one of our little kids got killed, that it was that much of a response? Where was the concern about the fact, it didn't make no difference if you knew them people or not. They didn't know them white. They didn't know their neighbors. They knew that it was a doggone shame, and not only that, that it would affect them and their children.
This is my thing. I'm asking you, how do we get them back? We talk about how long they gone, but how do we get them back now?
Well, first you identify the problem, right? And then you come up with the idea of how we come up with a solution to the problem. I believe that if you were conditioned to do a certain thing, the public health theory is that if you got a condition and it comes from bad habits, you see, like what was it, tuberculosis or something like that. Most of that was because of dirt and different things like that. So what they did was they educated people on how to clean themselves, and you ended up ended the disease. That's the public health approach. However, if we, as black activists in our community, if we don't educate the community that we call ourselves serving, if we don't have them understand the fact that ain't no strangers coming in our neighborhood killing us,
Right.
that it's the little guy who's sitting at your table putting his feet up under your table who is committing these atrocities in our community.
Facts.
You understand? It's not it ain't no stranger that's doing this to us. Ain't no outside forces coming in here, murdering our children, kidnapping our children, doing everything that's happening to our children. It's us. Until we recognize that fact, until we come together as a group and the activists start depending more on, hey, let's educate our people, let's make our people involved in it. For instance, he started talking about accountability. Well, if your son was a rapist, I'll take it back. If my son was a rapist, he couldn't put his foot up under my feet, under my table. I wouldn't feed him. I would make every time he come around me, he would be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
See, once you start making brothers feel uncomfortable, if I got a serial shooter in my house who goes out there and let go loose at a dude that he mad at on the block, but he shoot at the whole block, he hit an old lady in the house trying to go to sleep. He hit a little baby on the porch who was just sitting up there trying to live. You done shot these people because you got a petty nothing beef with one dude.
Right.
And then you gonna come home to my house and sit up in my face and I'm gonna say that you my son and I love you. You my son and I love you, but get the hell out of here.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't have to hey, bro, you ain't got to be no snitch to make a dude feel that what he doing ain't right.
You know what? When you saying I want to switch seats, me and Skills gonna get up and let DeAndre and y'all further the conversation.
Yeah.
Because I think y'all can push it a little further. Push it a little further. Introducing my dog Dre. Come on, man.
Get on over there, man. You got something to
I'm
talk?
here. I'm still here. Just want, y'all gonna be right there, I'm gonna be right here. And, if some of them questions can come up on the right side, if somebody got something to say.
Man, I'm so glad.
No, I'm talking about,
Yeah, I'm just as bad.
so D, what you,
So-
because I want to talk about the fact of, you had made a point the other day, we was talking about the difference between snitching and being accountable for a situation.
Right, so we was having a conversation about that. And again, everything that I say is just in my opinion, in my
Mine too.
experience. So I ain't no expert on it, I'm just an expert in my own experience and things that affect me. So if the three of us do something, I get caught, then I tell that these two brothers was with me, that's snitching. Because we all set up to do something that we know what the consequences is. I get caught, oh yeah, it was him and him, they was with me. First of all, they not gonna cut no time. It's still gonna be the same time. You just tricked. But the other part about that, for me, again, is like the little boy that killed my son. The little boy that killed my son, it was a couple people that said, he did it right there. It was him. I saw him, this is what it was. So that's, for me, that's not snitching, because I need this information. Now what I do with the information is my business, but at the same time, that person set out, not only did he set out, but he actually accomplished killing my son. So that ain't no, that's a whole different thing for me. You know, what is y'all opinion on it?
My opinion is this. When it comes down to the definition of snitching, I think you made a valid point of what snitching is. If me and you together doing something and I tell on us, yeah, that's snitching. But here's what I'm saying to me. This ain't, what I'm talking about ain't got nothing to do with telling on people. I'm trying to reestablish a culture of caring about one another.
But no, that's one of the things they got to do it, because I got to care about you enough to know that Miss Peters is your grandmother. She didn't walk down the street and she didn't got shot by this dude doing some random stuff. I'm just gonna let her die and I know he did it. It's everybody has to be accountable for each other. Like you were saying, people in the neighborhood don't care no more. It ain't the fact that just caring about somebody shooting, but you gotta care about, she coming in with her groceries she owed. Go help her out.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of just looking the other way.
Right.
And one hand gonna wash the other.
Right.
Like they say, it take a community to raise a child, but if the community is astray, that child is standing in the street waiting to get hit by life.
Well, let me say this. I believe in my heart, man, that if we had a sense of accountability, that whole issue would be taken care of in itself. Because people would feel that, hey, I'm accountable for this dude doing this, and they probably step up and do whatever they mind telling them to do. But the thing is that we do not have a sense of accountability in our community.
Right.
We allow, it's not only the fact that we don't care about who lives next door to us. We sit back and we allow anything to happen in our community. We allow these strange merchants from around the world to come into our community and serve us different things in these stores, but yet and still they treat us like animals when we come in that store. In other words, man, we start not to hold nobody or nothing accountable, not even our children. We don't even hold, well, we talk about voting for this man or voting for that man, but yet and still, you understand, we don't have a tracking system to say, hey man, is this dude actually doing a job? Is this dude actually doing the job he do? And they know that we're not gonna stand as a people to hold him accountable. We're not holding anybody or nobody in our community accountable. And as a result, you understand that it's wide open season. It's just like when you're in the boxing ring. If I mess around and hit a dude with a left hook, he don't do nothing about it, I'm gonna hit him with it again, and then sooner or later I'm gonna add this right hand to him, and if I can, I'm gonna kick him. You see what I'm saying? So the name of the game is, man, you got to hold people accountable for what you expect out of them. Our expectations of people is so low.
Man.
Our expectation of people is so low. Our expectation from the police, our expectation from the mayor, our expectation from our aldermen. You know what? Not one time, watching the social media, have I seen one alderman out of all these wards step up in any protest about any store, any services that been brought about. All I see is the same dudes over there talking about he disrespected a woman, he did this, he did that. Mind you, when they started going at R. Kelly, you understand? The alderman got involved over there, closed his place down. You understand? He's a runner, and they don't tell him when he can go in his own place.
Yeah, he came to some places, they closed him down. He came to my club out there.
Yeah.
And closed it down because he was in there, came to V75 closed down. But that goes with
That's what
the
I'm telling
same
you.
situation of the culture. I ain't mean to interrupt you there. When the police kill somebody, it's marching, it's uproar.
Yeah.
When June killed TT, ain't nobody saying nothing.
Right.
So what you saying about everybody has to be accountable. The thing of the day is what solutions are we gonna put
My
in?
solution to that is, go ahead, bro.
But you know what? And listen, I'm getting here late, man. So I want to say, man, big ups to the brother High Smith. Been doing this a long time, man. You know what I mean? Paved the way for brothers like me. D for inviting me here. Yourself, Mr. Comedian, Mr. Funny Man. But man, like, I'd like to try to look at the historical, because I was having a conversation with a guy yesterday, and they talked about how we at this point now where if something happened, you know, it used to be guys would fight one-on-one. Now it'd be 15, 20 guys out there with guns. One thing now involved everybody. And my question was, yeah, but how do we get to that point? You know what I mean? I think you got to look at the historical context of a lot of stuff that go on, man. And, man, to me, it's heartbreaking because, like, I look at things through a different lens now because of what I've been through with the system and stuff like that. And I don't even look at it like, woe is me. I'm happy for what I went through. I'm glad because it opened my eyes and showed me some things. And I feel like, man, everything that has been said up here is valid, but it's so insidious, man. The nature of the game or how it's played, like, it's hard to hold these people accountable because, like, I hear people talk about racism, and I'm one of the people that believe that, and I think I've heard you say it before, how blacks cannot be racist. We don't have no power. We don't hold the power. You have to be able to influence the living conditions of people, a group of people. That's by definition racism, and a lot of this stuff that's going on, man, is the whole approach. It's insidious, man. The thing that they got, like, I don't want to turn it to a race thing or nothing like that, but the dynamic of how stuff is set up, we don't really control or run no systems. Everything that go on in this city is based on a system. Institutional racism is real. You know, they even control the narrative of how we look at stuff. Without you even realizing what they doing. They're gonna put an image out there, and most of our people gonna be divided saying, well, this is cool and that was cool, when it was designed for one reason, to separate us.
Excuse me, Mr. Harold Washington Jr., can you break that word down insidious?
Insidious?
Yeah, because we
Man,
got people.
it's diabolical in nature.
Explain it to me, because there's a 17-year-old on the street that's gonna see this.
They gonna think it's a
What
movie.
does that mean?
A movie.
It
And
was
see,
a movie,
and
we
see,
call it.
and not.
I'd be joking, I'm
and,
serious.
and another thing that we doing this panel. We're gonna do a rotation of these panels for the next couple of weeks, as much as we can. And one of the things that we were talking about just on yesterday was about education. So I brung in there saying about we got to educate all the way back. So it takes every single body for us to re-educate the people that we have. So can you break that word down, please?
So let me stop right here when you say we need to educate everybody. Once upon a time, and how can witness this, we knew coming up, you and me, not to walk down the street with our pants hanging off our ass and stuff like that, because we had examples that came along before us that didn't allow that. So we couldn't do that. We knew not to get caught in the street cursing like we grown in front of grown people. We knew we better carry our butt to school. We knew that if Miss Mary next door seen me doing something, she could whoop my butt and take me home, and then my grandmama, my mama, or whoever my caregiver was, they gonna whoop my butt for making Miss Mary whoop my butt. You see what I'm saying? So we was educated without really even having to sit down and tell us this. We knew it was a culture. But
you
along the
can't
way,
stop.
That's what it is.
We was taught.
But hold on, let me
but
tell
I'm
you
saying,
something.
but we was taught. We was taught because we emulated cats, and cats that came before us didn't act like that. So that's really how we was taught. It was a social norm at
We
that
was
time.
taught, we were
was
taught by sight, and we were taught by somebody verbally doing it. But at one point in time, if you, and I think I feel it with all of us,
but the point that I was
we
trying
just
to make,
knew it.
But the point that I was trying to make, at
Yeah, I
some
agree
point,
with you. We knew it
at
because
some
we
point,
taught
where
that.
did it start? Where did
wrong.
Because I want to say we dropped the ball, but at the same time, we had help in dropping the ball. You know what I mean? At some point, different entities start coming in, governmental entities start coming in and saying stuff like, "Don't discipline your child."
Yes.
They start coming in and saying, "Well, listen, you don't really need no support or no man, because we'll give you public housing and we'll take care of you, but the man can't be there." So by design, they start tearing at the fabric of the black family.
Tearing
And
the
one
That was the
thing-
first. That was the first
I agree. too,
infrastructure that was broke.
Yeah.
Can we go to that? Can you read a couple of them up under? Yeah, 'cause they coming in. They coming in now. Can you see it?
Hell no, I can't say this
Well,
shit.
give it to Drake. Drake can see.
Drake can't see anyway. He still ain't said the word. He ain't broke down the word.
The insidious.
But I
Yeah.
just said it's a diabolical approach, and then I was explaining
That's
to
it,
you
that's
in
it.
action what I'm saying right now. So that was by design when you said stop whooping your child. Because see, I told you before, when I grew up, and I'm not condoning child abuse or none of that, but I grew up in an era when you messed up, you got your butt whooped with a belt, with a hanger,
Stitch
with a
a cord,
switch. Go get that
racetrack.
switch.
Now,
All
it-
that.
it don't-
And listen what happened. My grandmother did all that to me when I grew up, right? And I ain't gonna lie, it affected me right now. It did something to me. Right now, I suffer from this condition called respect for others. You understand what I'm saying?
So what is
So,
what some
what
of
they
the
saying?
feedback?
So, now this one girl was just saying about the Nikki Diva was saying what the insidious was. But I'm gonna tell you, when you saying talk, so the breakdown is this.
What's up, Dave?
It was an area on 72nd and Halston. I lived on 69th and Justine. It was an area on 72nd and Halston. Now, you ain't gonna remember this story. But on 72nd and Halston, it was certain things that you was allowed and could do. Period. So after the first person got warned, and then the second person got whooped, the third person said, "Man, I ain't going over there with that shit." So that's the shit that that's the things that we have to go back to at the same time, because I done seen some shorties that still tell me right now today, "Hey man, D man, I love you, man. You was the way you was telling me and talking to me, and it taught me." But the breakdown again, it goes back two generations from me. So I'm in my 50s, I'm 54. Then the guys that's in the 40s, they still know, they still holler at. But them guys in them 30s, which is around my kids' age, you know, they ain't, now that's what the disconnect is, because the 40s didn't pass that down.
So when
You
you,
know
go
what I'm saying?
back, so when you go back to the 40s, that's one generation. The 30s, that's another generation.
Right.
And that's when the disconnect started happening. What you think was what happened at that point? What happened at that point? When you go back 20-some years,
That's what you have to understand, though.
what happened then?
See, a lot of brothers don't understand this. That everything, this world has always been about what? It's always been about the young. The young is the one that keeps the ball rolling. However, you have to also understand this about it. If you got a culture and it's cohesive enough to hold everybody together, right? But when you got a culture that is based around trends and based around the most popular things. Now, our culture in America, black culture in America, is not about morals.
No, that's a
You know
fact.
what it is? We always been a trendy people. What's going on, you understand, is what we get a part of. We ain't part of what's new, then we is considered old-fashioned and out of date.
And right now, because a certain rapper snitching is about to be an
Big.
official thing.
Yes.
Because when they let that boy out,
He going
and
right back to his music.
Get right back to that music. That's gonna cause a whole nother echo effect. Like You can argue all up and down. They be talking about them that the pants sagging shit came from jail. I was in jail.
No.
There wasn't no
There
saying.
wasn't no niggas. I remember I was in jail in Minnesota. Let me tell you something. I was blessed to not go to Illinois Correctional Facility. I was blessed because I knew how my mentality was. So, you know, when I went out of town, I'm from Chicago. What? And I remember a dude came in there with his pants sagging. A cat had to be about 60 years old, but stayed in the gym, looked like he was 30. Told him, young blood, we don't sag in here. Because when you sag in here, something gonna happen to you. He said, man, I'm grown, man, I can do what I want to. Another dude, I didn't even know this man was locked up with us. When I tell you how Smith, this man was so swole, his hair had muscles. This man was so swole. He came and put his arm on that dude and said, man, if you don't pull them pants up, I'm gonna make sweet love to you. Now, you know when you're in the joint, something happen like that.
Yeah.
Everything's silent. No, not me. I fell out laughing, got to hollering and pointing and told that nigga he is going to be in a relationship before lunch. I don't know what happened because I was in Stillwater. We was in the jail. However it went, when them doors rolled, all I heard, shut up. The next day, that man came out. His pants was up to here. That nigga didn't want no more trouble because and I ain't down with the rape and the shit. But what I'm saying is something has to be done expeditiously on these streets.
Is we gonna get somebody to ask what that mean?
Expeditiously in a goddamn hurry for somebody to straighten a lot of these situations out. Because you got to look at it. Our daughters are out here amongst these guys.
And they like it.
Yes.
They like guys.
And they used to have a thing when they said, the worst thing in the world was your daughter was gonna meet a dude like you. Ain't none of these niggas like me.
So
I
that
can't,
ain't
they
gonna happen.
the worst version.
But let me say this right here, man, about styles and you know, different phases
Trends.
and trends that we go through. Man, they come and go. But let me say this right here, man, because I remember back in the day when I was a teenager, man, the whole your pants be up here. That's when you was clever, you know. Now they down here and you clever. So what I'm saying is this, man. It's not so much about the trends, man. See what it is. That's the name of the game, and keep us
Stuff.
arguing about things that ain't even important. It ain't got no real tangible meaning.
Right.
See what it is with us as a black people, man. We had to understand that we got to get away from the trending, and you know what keep other people together is their culture. You know, we are so diverse because we've been robbed of our culture.
Yes.
You understand? When you get us sitting here right now, here we are, man. We all believe in each other. We know each other. We friendly and all that type of stuff. We love each other as brothers. But yet, we four different people with four different ideas about what's supposed to happen. And the way we carry ourselves. I mean, even our religion is not the same. Christian, Muslim.
Yeah.
You understand?
You a Muslim?
Yes, I
I
am.
was confused on what you was.
I didn't know you was Muslim.
I didn't know you.
Hey, now, because the reason, hey, now, we don't get into Islam or we don't get into Christianity. What I'm pointing out is this, that we so diverse, and this is the reason why we so diverse.
Mm-hmm.
When you go in other communities, man, they got things that holds them together like glue.
they
And
culture.
that is the culture of, they believe in a certain.
Okay, so what is our culture?
That's just it. That was the first thing that happened to us was to
was taken.
strip our culture.
Yeah, that
take
was
our
taken.
language, our religion,
Our culture.
and take our music. And see, these are the things that actually totally hold people together. If you go into a Hispanic neighborhood, all of them got one thing in common for sure.
Boy, you ain't lying.
They all, you understand, speak the same language.
'Cause what?
Secondly,
They all worship
most
the
of
same
them
God.
is Christians and most of them are Catholic. Then you go into another thing is this.
Family.
They hold together. Now, when our community was together, you know why we was together so strongly back in the day? Way back in the day in the 50s and in the 60s going on back further there, is because we couldn't help it. First of all, we was in a designated area that was that we had to live in.
That
They had
was
all
designed.
kind of rules and everything to keep us from going anywhere else. They had redlining where you couldn't buy property where you wanted to be. It didn't make no difference of how economically strong you were, if you had $1 zillion.
Restrictive covenants.
If you was academically and enhanced, you know every damn thing that it was to know. If your profession, got dog, it paid you cash money or whatever it was, at the end of the day, you had to live in the same place I lived in. So as a result, we had to stick together because our conditions made us stay together. And as we stayed together, we thrived. Why did we thrive? Because the dollar bill stayed in our neighborhood forever, because we couldn't take it out.
Right.
And didn't nobody else come in and do it. The only people that was in there with us was Jews, because they was restricted. They couldn't go nowhere.
So is that how the Chicago Fire got kicked off?
More than likely. But let me tell you something. I know it wasn't
Wasn't
no
by
damn,
no damn
cow.
cow.
But let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. Now what happened is this, and when they start, and see, this was by design too, my brother. It wasn't no Martin Luther King or nobody else. It was by design that them white folks recognized one thing. It was billions of dollars being made in the black community, and they wasn't getting a dime out of it.
Yep.
They know one thing other than that. When the stock market crashed, boom, all the white folks jumping out of windows and doing all kind of stuff.
We
Ain't no
still-
black folks jumping out of windows because they wasn't part of
Wasn't
mainstream America. They wasn't even affected. All our money
Didn't
was
even
still
know.
there.
Right.
So what they did, they got mad and bombed where we lived at, killed us, come in there and murdered us.
Yeah.
And then you know what they said, man, we can't keep going in there and killing them and murdering them. So what we gonna do now is we going to integrate them.
Yes.
We're gonna open up the doors. Come on in. But they didn't integrate us as far as changing their attitude towards us. They integrated us to this. Bring us all that money you got in the ghetto. And as what then happened from now is that the economy in the ghetto dismissed and disappeared. You understand? And we are still today what we were back then, the biggest consumers in North America.
I think we
And
were
don't
so
own
now.
nothing.
And don't own nothing.
Our women,
Could you remember a time? I remember a time when every gas station in our community was black owned and black operated.
I remember coming.
I remember when every liquor store in our community was black owned and operated. I remember when all the grandmama stores and all those
Mom and
stores,
pops, yeah.
mom and pop stores was owned and operated by black people. Now,
And it went high.
We've been
I got a friend, you know my man
Our
Chop,
culture been
right?
hijacked by Arabs.
Y'all know Chop, right? You know what Chop did? Me and my man was sitting there when he was telling us about this. Young brother asking him for some money, right? Young brother said, man, I need to come down. He said, I'm gonna give you $200, but what you got to do, in this small radius, where I want you to go, in our community, you got to spend that money in a black establishment, and you got to bring me the receipt back. The young brother went out there to do that and came back and said, man, there wasn't no black places where I could spend it. Where could he go to buy a pair of gym shoes from a black guy? Where could he go to get some pants and some shirts from a black guy in our own community, man?
Right.
This boy, it wasn't that he couldn't go way on the west side and find something over there. It was right there where he be at. So in other words, if he done went into a store to buy some gym shoes, he was buying it from an Arab or somebody else. If he went into a store to buy a pair of pants or a shirt or shoes or something, he was buying it from an Arab. And then you gonna tell me that is not a damn shame in our own community?
And the part about that's very disturbing is you have all this violence, but they ain't messing with them. Right in the community. They
Right
had
here
a
in my
barber
center.
shop. They had a barber shop. They robbed the barber shop next door to the Arab store.
That's right.
Didn't touch the Arab store. When the barber shop closed, what you gonna go in and get some clippers or something? But they broke into the barber shop, didn't touch the Arab. But so what the thing I need to know or trying to figure out or trying to help is I need everybody. That's why I'm reaching out. I'm reaching out to everybody because everybody. I just told my pastor a minute ago. this stuff is like pastors. We talked about this yesterday. You good at this, you good at this, you good at this, I got this skill, this brother here got this skill. We gotta take all those skills and put them and line them up and put them together, because where we at right here, if it's 15 people, each one of us can say a script and say it the same way, and we only gonna get 3 out of that 15, all of us. Those are facts, because they like the way you said this. They like the way you wear your hat. It's something about each one of us that we're going to be able to get to them. So now what we have to do is actually get to them. So now we have to dig down deep and get to the people that can get to them. Because we can't, we got a big disconnect right now. We disconnected, period.
That's
You know
what
what
it's
I'm saying?
about, and it's a seed. Do you know that dog in 20 years or 50 years, man, black people ain't gonna exist as black people in America.
I can understand that.
What the hell they gonna be?
Just some dark-skinned Americans.
Listen,
But you know I think the biggest issue that we got, and again, I'm all for these round tables, I'm all for these forums, I'm all about, man, let's come together and pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. And I think probably one of my strengths is probably one of my biggest weaknesses is that I recognize who the enemy is. I recognize who the main ones that don't want to see us come together and do this. Yeah, we got some among us that's gonna be the problem too, but it's bigger than them. It's bigger than them, and people don't want to acknowledge that. But man, I'm gonna tell you something, man. People don't make stuff happen. Systems make stuff happen. And when you know that you're not physically dominant to a group of people, what you do is you try to find a way to contain them. You come up with systems and stuff that can contain them. And that's what they did. They done came up with a system, you know what I mean, whether it be mass incarceration, whether it be disenfranchisement, whether it be education, not getting the proper education as people supposed to do. All these things is by design to keep us relegated to a spot of being less than what we could be. And when somebody come along like Brother Hyde or somebody that can think for the multitude, you become an enemy. You're going to make an enemy in high places when you're trying to do something. Long as you ain't really being too successful, I don't care because you got 1 or 2 people coming over there listening to you, but let 1,000, 10,000 come over here. You're going to become a problem. You got to be ready to deal with what's going to happen
Here's
next.
the problem, right? Here's a true story, because what you're saying is true. A lot of people may or may not know this. How you probably definitely know this. Larry Hoover sent 15,000 young adults to the Daily Center back in the 90s.
Shut it down. Only time in
said,
history
hey,
it been done.
Y'all ain't down there to do nothing but register to vote.
Yep.
Sit them down there by busloads, magnitude. And they said at that particular time, oh man, he's a problem. Because now he's not rioting. He's not, he's not being violent. He's saying, hey, y'all gotta think. Because the same thing with Larry and Jeff, can't no gangsters get them out of jail ever. They need lawyers, and lawyers need lawyers, and the lawyers need lawyers and lawyers, and that's how that road go. If you listen to, it's a thing that they made in '93, the Ghetto Boys. Larry said, listen, in 2015. That you're gonna be locked up
In
your own house,
Crazy.
not just locked up in jail, but in your own community. He said that in 1993, and when you go back to the stats of 2015, that's exactly what it is. And all of us, most of us are saying, hey man, you see a cat our age now, you say, hey man, what you doing? Man, I'm just staying out the way. So my thing is, and grabbing people and gathering people and say, hey man, I know you got this education, man. Let's get this going. Let's force these people to do this.
Let's get in the way.
Let's get. It's going, because as long as we living, we can't stop. We ain't gonna stop living. So at the same time, I just can't stop trying.
This my thing and my problem with that example. It was good because I remember all of that. When you organize something and you publicly make it organized, they can see you coming. See what I'm saying? I remember even they poisoned the media because I had the papers that said gang march. It never said it was a citizens march. And all the big papers, it said it was a gang march on daily center. All young men, gangbangers, this, that. So when they seen us coming, they already said, man, we gotta get this paperwork, because this dude was a problem.
But use
These
that,
people are
but
problems.
use that as an example.
But what
Not
no,
just,
the reason I'm
not
saying
just,
is, I would rather us go and do, say like you finna get a grocery store. You gotta go around and gather these funds, or if you got funds gathered, why you gotta make a big thing about it? Get that grocery store, bam. You get that grocery store, or you get that laundromat, you got revenue coming from there. And then you, because it's always been secret societies that have taken over things.
Right.
Every time we come at something, and we come at it one way, and we come at it the right way,
But you
like
know
you
what?
said, that person
know what, though?
is gonna be up under ridicule.
Have
It's
you
gonna be
ever
right.
heard the phrase structural violence?
No, I ain't never heard that.
You heard it, ain't you? And you know, and see, that's what you call structural violence. What they do is this. They systems is set to dictate, to detect a movement like that. And as a result, all their systems
Gonna be
kicking the
deployed
gear
against you.
to commit violence on you. Now, that violence don't necessarily mean they come and shoot you in your head. It means this, that they gonna have punitive measures, you understand, to take you out the game. Take Larry out the game, they put him in prison for the entire life and put him up under the ground now. The punitive thing was now that we target with our system, judicial system, and every system down the line goes at this specific group, go at this specific people, and they commit violence on us. They destroy our means, our method, and all that's connected to us. It's called that structural violence.
And all you gotta do
Now, let
is
me explain something else.
historically look at how many times it's happened.
And then see, that's right. This is something that they put into play.
Right.
See, when we start talking about America as a country, first of all, they paint a great big old picture of glory and bravery and courage, right doing, morally correct, all
you
these
ain't
type of
entitled to
things
none
and
of
that. But let me explain something to you. You have to understand what the undercurrent is to that. What was the motive and the reasons behind every war and conflict this country been in? What was, they'd take this from you, let's talk about historically. They took slavery away and enacted Jim Crow. Took Jim Crow away and enacted criminalization of black people and put them in prison. Now they take your economic base away, where you become more than dependent on some people other than yourself. Then they take your self-respect and self-love away and make you hate one another, where now you just murder each other in mass.
Right.
And don't care. And you got all these preachers they done made here and turned out the most powerful institution that black people in America had, and that was the church. The church was the vanguard. Understand this. The church was the vanguard. That always came, if it was a sister who had children and her husband wasn't there, the church automatically adopted this sister and made sure that her children was raised right and did the right thing. This is what the church did. You had reverends got dogged to stay more in the hospital more than the doctor to make sure that somebody was there. To make sure that, hey, sister so-and-so,
Getting taken
this
care of.
kid, this,
Yeah.
we got to take care of sister there and doing this. Now it's about numbers, money, and having the biggest church, and they're talking about nothing but a pie in the sky. Understand this, man. Now it got to the point now that churches are not together. They territorial. They better than worse than gangbangers, man.
Yeah. You got
And they
on
run with the
79th Street.
political thing so hard.
On 79th Street, you got 120 churches from Stony Island to Western. 120 churches.
That's on one street. But look, it's
Right.
it's amazing that you got all these churches in our community, and our community is morally bankrupt. So who doing their job?
Say that part again so they hear you. Morally bankrupt.
We are.
Not financially. Well, we both financially, but morally is more important. Because there ain't nobody got no morals out here. Because they don't care. They don't care.
So what I'm saying to you, man, we sitting here, we talking about this, we talk about the problems and stuff like this, but they put money in the wrong place, put money in the wrong thing. What we need to do, man, is have a campaign of re-education in our community. We need brothers, God dog, we need brothers going door to door. You know why I say brothers? You know why I say brothers, don't you?
It's men.
Because we are the most missing people in action. Black men is missing in action. In every crisis that your family, I bet all the money I can get my hands on, I'm a broke nigga. But let me tell you something. I bet all the money that I get my hands on, that your family, my family, his family, and his family, when it's a crisis, it's a woman who says to step up. When it's time for a funeral, it's the woman who over there got dog and getting the arrangements together.
On the phone call.
Because you know what, even if you the money man, you know what you gonna do? Here, baby, just go see what that is. She gonna go and make the arrangements. She gonna make sure that the bills is paid. She gonna be the one to do this. She the one to do this. We do not take the responsibility of being the man in our home. So how in the world we gonna be the man in our community?
Right.
We can't be a man in our community because if you get 19 people together, 16 of them is women.
So that's why I'm reaching out hard on this accountable man. That's
I'm
why
gonna tell you
reaching
something
out.
else before you say that, brother. I want to cut you off. Let me tell you this, though. That's why our sisters are so vocal, so opinionated, is because they the ones who had to make the way. And I'm gonna tell you something else. Brothers won't even step up for a sister. How many times you've seen on the media, man, you see the, and you know what? What's the most sickening part to me is I love Tyrone Muhammad.
That's my man.
I love them brothers the way they step up when they go there to talk about protesting for this. But man, what I despise is gangbangers who supposed to run around here, shoot up this whole neighborhood, and yet and still you won't make a move when one of them Arabs go in there and slap a sister in the face or kick her. There shouldn't be no room for Tyrone Muhammad and his group to stand out there and protest the place because the place supposed to have been whooped and tore up way before that. You criminals.
Yeah.
You're tearing up our community. You're shooting us every day.
But see, you know, back in the day when we was under,
But we
you
ain't back in
you
the
call
day no
somebody
more.
and be like, "Damn, Joker," and everybody done ran up there and whooped every last one of the people. But like you say now,
We ain't back in the day no more. Because you know what? Rhodey, we don't have respect no more. We don't have self-respect. Man, do you know I remember a time when somebody said something about your mama, man, you had to kill that Negro.
but you got to one thing too.
So now they can do something to your mama physically?
Listen. One thing too though, you talk about us being men, and I'm with us pushing the envelope. In that situation, that's done like them black women still going in there. They still spend their money and spend their dollar with them people.
You know
man.
why? You know why? Because they run it. If they got dog and saying so, you can't tell them nothing now because they can do what the hell they want. Because you ain't never been a man for them. You ain't never did nothing for them as a man.
So they ain't gonna listen to you.
What they gonna listen to you? Soon as I'm pregnant, you gone.
Who knew about, I mean, I'm sure everybody here know about it, so it's rhetorical. Willie Lynch.
Yeah, that's it.
Willie Lynch.
It's working. It's up and working,
You
man.
They
understand
ain't
what I'm saying?
they ain't even have to rip the buck up.
So I mean, that was, back then. That's how you break them. You take a man, and you demoralize him. You humiliate him. You beat him in front of his woman. You show her that he don't got no power at all. He can't save you. You gonna teach a child submit to master. Because if you don't, you know, master had the authority to tear your family apart. You wasn't even. You was property. I sell you off. You would never see him again. You know what I mean? So you got to teach your kid to respect what master say, out of fear, and so now, you know, the system just it didn't evolve now. You know, they ain't saying nigga carry that tree no more. They ain't doing that no more. You know, now, you know, people talk about the 13th Amendment, you know, they abolished slavery. No, it didn't.
Nah,
It
slavery's
didn't.
still
It
here.
evolved into something else.
What it did was, it made it illegal for individuals to own slaves.
So now the
It
country
says, unless, that word, unless duly convicted in a
Right.
state or county. Now, once you get convicted in a state or county, now I can call you slave again.
You a slave again.
Inmate.
But
And I
you-
can send you down to, you know, one of them plantations.
See, they don't read it.
Same thing.
penitentiaries.
They do
Same
not
thing
read
You
with
understand what I'm
your
saying?
same thing
So,
with
like,
your
even like-
birth certificate and your marriage license.
But so like even right now when we evolve up to today, like we study hitting on stuff, then we'll get away from it. Like it's by design, man. Whoever our leaders are, you know, when you step up and become a leader where you become a problem now, because I don't care nothing about that little nigga on the street. The worst thing that Larry did was to legitimize itself. Because long as your thing was shooting and killing, that sent money to the prison industrial
profit.
complex. We got something for you. We gonna catch you sooner or later. So you keep doing, but when you start talking about changing mindsets and getting people involved in a political process, whoa, wait.
Let the
That
fuck
ain't,
out money up, homie.
See, now you getting into our shit now. See what I'm saying? Because if you can elect, and he almost had elected Gittler. He was an alderman against Tillman. She was one of the most powerful ones in the city then. If you can elect an alderman in the city of Chicago, you can elect a mayor. And if you can elect a mayor, you might can elect a governor. And if you can elect a governor, you could have, for instance, Mr. Bradley or somebody, Governor Bradley, say, I pardon, you know, Mr. Hoover. So that's too much power.
Yep.
So you have to set up systems now. Now the system is set up whereas they're not gonna just be overt with it, they're gonna be covert with it. You know, you got something now that's called CCE, Continuing Criminal Enterprise. Why? Because if you can stop something, look, we want to be able to police our own community. They don't want that. Why? Because that's saying like you got juice, you a chief. If you can stop something, you can start it. We ain't interested in you being no police for us in the neighborhood. But that's really what we need. And we keep saying, well, why won't we do this? Cause we scared. You're gonna lose your liberty or your life. We gotta run out here right now and challenge these little guys that's out here running around shooting. Cause we know it's little Ray Ray and Junebug and all them. Like you say, how they coming right now our house. We know who you is, but now we gotta challenge you. And not only is we risking our life, cause some of these shorties will come at you. But now we risking our liberty too, because now they're going to come and say, we a chief. Now they're going to give you, and CCE carry life.
Mandatory.
So now you in a position now where, that's why people walking around now, they just throw their hands up. Man, listen, man, I'm not finna get involved with that. Man, what you say? Man, I'm staying out the way.
Man, out the way.
It's by design, bro.
All of it
It's
is
by design.
All of it is by design. All of it is totally by design. The laws are not for us.
No
They
question.
never have been for us. They never
And that's
will
one
be
thing,
for us.
one thing you do,
got
I
it.
admire you for. You keep saying, I'm trying to bring these brothers together. Because the only way it's ever going to happen, it's got to be by us, for us. If we thinking that they going to come along and ride in and rescue us, talking about they putting the money in the wrong place, they putting the money where they want it to be, where it's not going to be
It's
effective.
wrong to
at.
us, but it's correct to
It's
them.
correct to them. It's wrong to us, but it's correct to them. So
But see,
they'd rather be wrong in our eyes and right in theirs
But
than
the
to do the
system
right
of
thing
it,
when
the
it comes to
system
us.
of it is, the system is not for us at all.
No
It
question.
never has been. So we can't rely on the system.
No question.
All we can do is rely on each other. So that's why I'm reaching out and saying, hey
You
man,
know
listen,
what?
I need your help.
And
I
the
need your
sad
help.
part
Let's try
about that,
this.
my brother, is that there's been brothers through the whole flick that explained that to us. Hey, Booker T. Washington. Everybody tried to make him into Uncle Tom. This man right here was one of the most powerful black dudes back in the day because what he told you, educate, get yourself a trade, and let's do our own community.
Yeah.
Don't get in that politics, leave that alone, do this and do that and do this. But what we end up doing, you understand, was just,
Following the trend.
yeah.
Follow
We gonna try to do what they do, what they do for their community.
But
Why don't we do something for our community?
we have to only do for ours, period. And we have to show examples on what it has to be. You know, my other part of this whole thing is having what they call a transitional counselor. Again, these are just my opinions. So when you have people that have been living vertically for 40, 50 years. Now you want them to live horizontal. They don't know how. They don't know nothing about that. They don't know nothing about barbecuing in the backyard. They didn't have that privilege. They was barbecuing on the front on that one door they was in because they didn't have two doors. So all those things was should have been, how do you live this way opposed to this way now? Same thing when you get these young players that play ball, any type of ball. You going from having 20,000 a year to 2 million to 20 million. You don't know how to take all that. That's a lot of pressure. Cause now you got people coming out of the woodwork. You got cousins you ain't never had cousins before. I'm your cousin on the third side from the incest fourth. Talking about say, hey man, you know I'm here. I can do this. Let's get involved with this.
We family.
What's the name went broke trying to carry his people? Hammer. Hammer had 200 people on his payroll, and he the only person that's bringing in some money. You can't do it. But again, it goes back to the education on how do we educate these people. So now it's got to be each one teach one. That's why I'm asking you and everybody else that I run up on. Man, we just got to grab them up in their collar, man. And no doubt, it's a task. It's
You
a
know what?
task.
And I think that what we're attacking from the wrong end, in my opinion.
What end you want to go from?
I want to go to just straight to the community. I'm
Yeah.
not we were talking about let's go at these youngsters. Man, if we ain't gonna be the example for them youngsters, if we ain't gonna show them that this is the way to do it, you ain't gonna go out there and talk them into it. Cause most of them don't care what you're saying no way. You understand? What you need to be talking to is Miss Jones and Miss Lewis on the block. Let's get block by block involved into our drive.
But you know what else we need though, huh? One component that gotta be up in there, gotta be. If that component ain't there, they not gonna listen to Ms. Jones, nobody else. Why we say, see, that's the main thing. If you telling them, even if you're trying to educate them, if we trying to teach them by example, look, Brody, this is what's gonna happen. This is what happened to me. All these guys around here, these legendary names that you know about, that you look up to, even if one of them is me, man, listen, in the end, I got caught. If you don't believe nothing else, believe you're gonna get caught eventually. And now, like you walk up to these shorty, you tell them, man, shorty, you know, back in the day, man, you couldn't do this, you know, you couldn't. And shorty look you dead in their face with their hat cocked and their pants hanging up off their ass, tell you, man, old school, this ain't back in the day. And in their mind, they think they checking you. But I always tell them, and I look them right in their face and tell them the same way, you right. It ain't back in the day, because back in the day, we could make mistakes and recover from them. I did. See what I'm saying? A lot of us did. Make a mistake now. Catch a murder now and see if you can recover from it. They giving you 70 years, shouty. You 20 years old, you're going to come home when you 90. Your life is effectively over with.
I remember they gave my old man 10 for that month.
So, yeah, but you should be home with 10. You'll be home in 4. You know what I mean? That ain't like that no more now. You understand what I'm saying? So the whole thing is we have to, like you say, educate them and show them a different way. But we got to do something to put something in their pocket, too. We got to have
I'm not
that.
talking about, you know what
We got to have that, because other
all
words, they
that
not
gotta be
listening
in
to
there.
that.
You got to have all that in there, but here's what I'm saying. When I'm talking about reclaiming the community, see, we are the people trends. And I'm talking about reclaiming the community by this. We out here putting together a little program to deal with these youngsters.
Right.
We the biggest secret in our community because our community is not there for the support. It's all about numbers and money.
Right.
You understand? And we already know that if our communities, block by block, ain't involved in this here, and what we try to do in changing the norm, that all we do about with these wraparound programs and trying to send dudes to school, trying to get them together, giving them a wage. But the problem is getting there and coming back. Because on the way there, they're going to run into JoJo and all them, they're going to have to get out. They're coming back, they're going to run into them. So they never do make it to the program or even get a long time thing about it. We got brothers, look here, right here. We got brothers live right here in Parkway that we give jobs, give them opportunities and stuff. and we tell them, say, man, you got a job. Well, man, I can't get over there. I got to get. They can't even get to the L track or to the train track, the rail, or to the public transportation, because they got to go through different places where they couldn't get there. It's dangerous.
I seen a guy. We working with
You
Drake.
see what I'm saying?
With the kid-
How do we change it? But see, on that part right there, all that is correct. So, my thinking, again, is my opinion. So they can't go here, but it's somebody that can go here that know both sides. We got to get that person.
Oh yeah, that's
We
what
done
we doing.
that.
We doing that.
We've
We
been
gotta
doing.
get
We
that
done
person.
that. This is my thing.
But we
I
can't
got-
stop because
No,
they keep going. Because when you get back, I done asked some shorty, hey man, what y'all feuding for? Because your mama know the boy that you feuding with.
Yeah.
If you came to that boy's house, I said, if that boy came to your house, your mama let him in. She don't even know y'all feud.
Hey D,
Right.
but that's the way it's been in game banging all the time. You know what? I'm writing me a book, and I got to thinking about when me and Larry got into it. I can't figure out why we got into it. And why was the disciples and stones fighting?
Right.
Why was the Cobras and the Vice Lords fighting? Why?
Territory that wasn't theirs, probably.
What I'm saying is, there's never no real reason why they do this. But the difference between that is that people grow out of it. These guys never get a chance to grow out of it because it's
They
dead.
dead.
It's deadly.
This is my thing. One guy told me when we was doing the kill violence thing. I said, man, he said, man, I want a job. I want to work. I ain't got no problem. So I'm finna have a baby and everything. It was a little dude. He had the little Audi called him little Fetty Wap. He said, man, but if I get a job and I go to work, I'm in my work clothes, I ain't got no car, I gotta get on this bus. One of the ops see me, now I done stopped. I'm like, hey man, I ain't even on that no more. Wop, 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 I'm dead. He said, man, I can't change until that side is ready to change.
But both sides got to be ready to change, and that's where the men come in. Because
But
where their
see,
daddy's at.
let me tell you
Because
something.
you know what, this what I found in most scenarios in the penitentiary. You got all fascists. You got all fascists sitting at the table. We about to wrap it up. You can hold fast. We about to wrap it up. It's all fascists that's in the penitentiary. When you're in the penitentiary, you ain't into it because you a disciple or a stone. You into it for something else, but they into it because of whatever it is. But it ain't about no game at that level.
Wait,
It done evolved from gangs.
But let me tell you
It's a majority of the killings and murders have been about something somebody said on social media.
See, that's
Some
what
of
I'm
the
trying to
dumbest
tell
shit in
people.
the world. That's
We
that
don't
fag
have
shit.
no gang problem in Chicago.
Not no more.
Gang problem.
We got a violence problem. And what we really have is a cultural problem that we conflict. But when you start talking about something, let me tell you, I know there's a young brother in the Parkway. He's a student. He going to school in LA now. This dude is a genius, in my opinion. I ain't seen no tests, but I seen him get out. And this dude right here never been in these groups, never. But he live in Parkway. So I tell him, I said, man, I need you to go over here on Vernon. Man, I can't go over there. Why you can't go over there? How in the world you can't go over there? You ain't never been in none of that. You just a student, man. He said, man, I'm out of Parkway. And if I go over there and they see me, they gonna do me. See, this is what I'm telling you about how the culture has changed so much that it ain't no longer about the dude who did it or the dude that's in it, or you live in the man, I'm gonna shoot your brother.
It was like that when we was coming up too, though. There was some cats that wasn't on nothing, but they got caught up in the raps and wanted to go see a girl.
When I was coming up, it never was like that.
You get a pass.
I don't care nothing about you.
See,
we
got-
know you. We
you
knew
got
who our
some-
enemies was.
You got a difference though now. Some of them dudes, like you say, he from Parkway, he even took a picture on and or put his location and say Parkway, and somebody from somewhere else, oh, I be seeing him come over here all the time. In Parkway? Okay.
But you
That's
know
on.
what though? Again, that word again, insidious. You know what I mean?
It's all been planned.
It's systems and stuff. And like I said, we don't even control the narrative of how we
right.
view each other. You know, that it's a culture. You're right. It's a culture of violence in this city. A culture that people adhere to every day. It's acceptable now. It's a social norm. It's expected that if you did something to me, I'm supposed to respond violently towards you, or if not, I'm a punk. So I'm succumbing to peer pressure at a young age. I'm getting old, and I know that, man, this is how Ray Ray dealt with it. This is how Woo 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 dealt with it. If I don't do that, I'm gonna be looked at a certain type of way. So it's and who promoting the culture? You know, the music, the drill music. That when Tupac and all them guys was arguing at first, it was just entertainment for real. But then Chicago was the only city where they was really doing this and going on YouTube and stuff, talking about it. And then what did they do? The promoters and the producers and stuff,
Start
the
making
Puffy
money off
Combs and all them start coming here and telling them guys, yeah, boy, them studio ass gangsters out there, y'all what's really happening right here. Everybody talking about you everywhere. I'm a young impressionable kid, yeah. They know about me down in Memphis. They know about me down in Atlanta. They know about you, but you know what I need you to do? Yeah, they know because they promote it. This really going on. So you know what I need you to do? Here go $100,000. Like you say, I ain't never had $1,000 at one time. They just gave me $100,000. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go buy all the guys a bunch of guns. But listen. Now this is what I need you to do though. Here, sign this. What is that? That's $1 million contract. You know, that's standard operating procedure. That's what we do. But I need you to keep on making that drill music though. Meanwhile, I'm sitting over here, over on Vernon, then watch this kid from Parkway come up and get $100,000. Now he living in mansions, he doing all this. Man, where my pie? I want my piece of the cake too. So what I'm gonna do? Now I'm gonna go fire somebody up and make me some drill music. Yeah, I did that, woo woo. And the culture is studied. You know, people sitting there talking about it.
Here again. For me, and this is just my opinion, go back to where's that man at? Where's that daddy at?
But here's what I'm gonna say to you.
But what I'm gonna tell you again is this. Remember I told you
both of y'all.
this. Systems is what makes stuff work.
What
Yeah,
I'm
that's
saying
you
is,
as a man.
what
But
I'm
them
doing
thousands
is-
of kids out there, they influenced by that.
Hold on a second.
What I'm saying is this. Once we recognize what we up against, which we doing right now, the next phase is let's get the men together
Right.
and let's have a already agreed upon strategy that we're gonna follow. But see, the thing is that I don't want to get caught up. The reason you don't see me on most of these things talking and doing all this is because it's all it is talk. And I want to do this. I want to sit down with some guys of action.
Right.
And if it ain't nothing but 10 of us, let's
10
us
people
10,
working.
let's do it.
Man,
And that's what I'm saying. Let's do it.
how
Well,
many times we didn't say that, and that's in the concept. 10
Hey, we
people
finna-
working
we-
in
we-
consolidation can do the
we
work of
finna wrap it
100
up.
people working individually.
We finna wrap it up, however the case may be. In closing, you said we're gonna get these guys together, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk. Next Sunday, please tune in. The podcast will be continuing to be part 3 of Accountable Men in the Community. Please do me a favor, share this video, talk about it, let people know. I said the ladies always talk. Ladies, talk to the men that you know. Talk to your brothers. Talk to your nephews. You got somebody that's over 40 or is 40 and up. Talk to them. Had a conversation and let them know what we're doing. I'm gonna be pushing this out on the internet. We finna get this shit together. My man's done got me put in it, and I swear to God, y'all don't even understand how hard it is. But I'm with it because I really want a change for my city, and that's more to me than anything. What you got to tell them, Drake? We wrap it on up.
Man, I mean, I'm with it. I always want to have these type of conversations with, you know, these think tanks with people who really, really want to make change. My thing is, I guess I'm always going to be the devil's advocate in the room because I'm always going to think about who our enemy really is. I don't look at no other black man and look at him like an enemy. I just don't. And I'll be glad when we get to the point where other black men look at other black men and don't look at him as an enemy. Because your true enemy, he got a business suit on, he downtown. He plotting your life right now. It's a design on your life and you don't even know it. It's a design on your life and you don't even know it.
D.
Oh, I'm good. I ain't never been about to talk. The only reason I'm reaching out is so we can do something. That's why I'm fucking with people that I know that's gonna do something. Just like when you call me, hey, you know this so and so and so. All right, let's get on it. I ain't got time to talk.
All right, y'all heard it. We gonna holler at y'all.